What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Bible Wisdom YouTube channel, the Counting Wisdom podcast. One thing I think robots teach us is that people are trying to be God, and the truthfulness of the Bible is that one of the things that it says about, Satan, the devil, is that he was trying to be like God, and not necessarily in a way of like, I want to have the goodness of God or, different things like that. He was more along the lines of wanting to just have the power of God, to use it for his evil purposes, and so one of the things that I think, even though robots are, I think necessary in this life right now, but, one of the things I think it shows is that people are trying to be God, in that they're trying to recreate, life on their own to say, hey, we don't need God. And, you realize how they have a mindset of, hey, there is no God, so God's going to allow me to do, whatever I please to do. Whatever I want to do, and it's just interesting that, I think when people are creating robots, what I think they don't say is that they're really trying to recreate people or create people on their own. Now, I know that when we talk about robots, we don't necessarily talk about them as they are trying to create another species or another being, but that's really what they're trying to do, or that they have already done. And I think that's one of the things that kind of shows how the truthfulness of the Bible is that, God says that people are, trying to be like God. For example, Adam and Eve, when they fell in the garden, one of the things that the snake said was, hey, if you eat this fruit, you'll be like God. And so, one, it doesn't make sense for God to even put that fruit there in the garden, for someone to just freely take. And, but obviously people don't think like that. People just sort of see what God places before them and, fall into these different traps, even though, looking back at it now, we would see, why would God even make a tree like that in order to be like God? Why would he just all of a sudden, decide to make a tree and put it in the garden and just haphazardly just say, oh yeah, don't eat that tree, and just hope that no one does through his word? Well, I feel like there's definitely, insight into when people are building robots, they are trying to be like God, and that is just a big downside because we don't fully know everything about God anyway. We only know what God has placed before us as far as the scriptures, the Bible, but there are many things about God that we just don't know, and to say that we are going to be like God, well, we have to know God first. We have to know Jesus Christ first in order to really decide whether we want to be like God, even though I'm sure we want to, but, I wonder if even Adam and Eve had a good understanding about, what God is, So anyway, I think we all make mistakes like that too. And just, I think people, when they build robots, they don't fully know what they're doing, even though I think God has given them the power to create robots. It's just, we don't know the implications of it. And so, anyway, thanks so much for checking out this shorter podcast. Hopefully this was helpful to someone. Hopefully you got something from it, and I will talk to you on the next one. See ya.